Hey everyone, Matt here from Matt's Diner, and today we're going to finish off chicken and broccoli. Here's what we're using. Broccoli, snow peas, baby bok choy. This stuff's awesome. Scallions, the whites are aromatic, greens are garnishes. Ginger and minced garlic. For rice, we're using Kokuho Rose rice. If you're going to make Chinese food, you got to use the right kind of rice. For the sauce, you're going to need a slurry, because that thickens up the sauce. 1 tablespoon of potato starch and 2 tablespoons of water. You gotta shake it. If you don't shake it, it settles and you can't use it. When you add it into the stir fry, you gotta do it a little bit at a time and stir while you're doing it, or it'll get gross and clumpy and like glue. Let's do it. Chicken cutting time. This is the grain of the chicken. You can see the lines coming across the chicken. That's the grain. You wanna cut across the grain, meaning you want to cut like this, right? This chicken is too big. This is pre-frozen, so it should cut nicely. First thing I'm going to do is cut the chicken long way like this. That way I'm working with smaller pieces. Then I'm going to cut it into thirds. I don't like the way that this piece looks. I'm not going to use that. So let's look at this piece first, all right? Get rid of this little chunk of grossness. This is the way that the grains run. See the lines? That's how the grains are running, this way. So you're going to want to cut it this way, across the grain. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to cut super, well, not too super thin, because we're not poaching. This isn't pho. But I'm going to cut like this across the grain. And they won't fall apart when cooking. Grain. I won't go into how to prepare the velveting marinade again. For that, you can watch my video. But I put all the ingredients into this little ramekin just to show you how it incorporates with the chicken. This chicken's going to absorb all that liquid. Coat it. This goes into the refrigerator for 20 minutes. Clean cutting board, clean cleaver, clean hands. Vegetables, broccoli. When you break the broccoli down, it looks like this. When you blanch it, it'll get nice and green. What you're told to do with broccoli florets after you clean them is not to cut all the way through, because you're going to mess the bulbs up. So you take it and you just cut through the stem, and then you tilt your knife to cut them like that. In stir fry, you kind of want everything to be roughly the same size so that it all cooks evenly. Let's do it one more time. So you take your knife, you cut through the floret just until you reach the end of the root. Tilt your knife. You get these nice equally sized florets. Snow peas are easy. I don't like eating the rough end. Scallion, cut off the bulb, cut the whites. These are going to be our aromatics that we mix in with the ginger and garlic. That leaves us with the greens. I like them uniform, like that. Then I use my food scissors. Ginger, I'll peel the outside instead of cutting the outside. I feel like when I cut the outside, I end up taking too much of the ginger off. I cut them into circles, but then cut them into semi-spears like that. Garlic, I cut off the ends because they're a little rough, just like the snow peas. Smash it, chop them up. Baby bok choy, I love this stuff. Take off the outside stems. This is before you soak it, and you can leave the little baby inside ones if you want. Got 2 of them here. Take off the outside stems. Leave the babies here. Can't really eat this bottom part, it's too tough. Get rid of those. This stuff gets washed twice. In the water, then you rinse it out, put it in the colander, rinse it again. Get yourself a clean kitchen towel. After it's washed, stick them on here. They don't have to be super, super, super dry when you put them in the wok. Just kind of gently do this, and they'll come out looking like this. Nice and clean, ready to throw into the wok. For the rice, 1, 2 cups of rice. 1, 2, 1-to-1 ratio. Ideally, I'd put it in a strainer, but since we're using a rice cooker, it'll adjust if I am a little off in my ratio, and it'll still come out perfectly. That's ready to go. I'm gonna put it in the rice cooker. Now we're ready to start cooking, right? I got the water heating up to a boil. We're gonna put the broccoli florets in there for about 3 to 4 minutes until they're green enough and soft enough for my liking. Then we're gonna put them in this water bath because that stops the cooking process. The brown sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, not low sodium soy sauce, light soy sauce, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of cooking wine, and a little bit of white pepper. Look at my ingredients for Chinese food video if you want the full list and ingredient list, whole thing. Chicken's ready to be added into the wok. I'm heating it up. You never want to put cold oil in a wok. All right, smoking pretty good now. I'm gonna add my oil. In goes the chicken! Spread it around so that everything is touching the wok. Don't touch it for a few seconds so that it doesn't stick. My stuff always sticks though, because I just can't stop moving it around. Take a look at the outside coloring of the chicken though. It cooks so fast because it's thin. All right, I'm too impatient. I'm gonna move it. I didn't get too much chicken on the top there. But look at how nice this chicken looks when it's brown. I'm putting it in a clean bowl. No cross-contamination. Always stay careful with chicken. Look at that. Look how delicious that looks. I could eat that right now as is with nothing on it. Since I don't have to blanch the bok choy, I'm going to go ahead and put the bok choy in. I am not using any aromatics for the bok choy because I'm going to put the aromatics in when I make the sauce. So you'll see this bok choy change color and texture. It's pretty cool. I would say bok choy takes about 5 to 6 minutes to cook, especially baby bok choy because it's so small. Look at that. Looks pretty good so far. I can never do the whole wok flipping thingy. Like, I guess that's not so bad. How's that look? Did that look professional? You can see the color changing. And as I'm moving it around, I can feel the texture changing too. What do you think of that so far? You see the difference in the texture and the difference in the color? This part was still a little bit too hard. This part's really good. I want this part to be a little bit more tender. You take these guys out. Since they're vegetables, I can stick them in the same bowl. They're not chicken. I don't have to worry about any of that. Water's boiling. Time to blanch the broccoli. This is the way the broccoli looks without being blanched. It doesn't take very long to blanch broccoli. You do it until you like the firmness of it for your family. My kids like it a little bit softer. Let's take one of these guys out and just show you the comparison already. Ooh, hot, 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 hot. Ooh, can you see the difference? See how green it is? So this stuff is pretty much ready. Here's the water bath, and I'm just gonna take broccoli out, put it in the water bath. That stops the cooking process, keeps it nice and green. I take a strainer and I move the broccoli out of the water bath. You're gonna still get like ice cubes. I'm gonna pick those out. But this way I'm not making a mess. I already got water in this pot, so might as well just add some more to it. And now we've got our broccoli ready for stir fry. Stir fry time. Don't put cold oil in a cold wok. You want to heat up the wok. Once it's ready, you stick in the oil, but then you got to let the oil heat up too. So this is smoking. I got my neutral oil. Putting some in there. I'm going to let it heat up. Time for some aromatics. Starting with the white onion. Poppity pop. Pop, 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 pop. Cook super fast. Don't want to burn it. Moving my induction down to 6 from 8 so I don't burn it too much. Aromatics, ginger, garlic. All right, back up to 8 on the induction because stir frying needs hot heat. broccoli. If it looks like it's getting a little too dry, instead of adding oil, add some cooking wine to the sides. I'm doing it around the sides of the wok. And that'll keep it from being too dry. The cooking wine is so mild, but it's got such a distinct flavor to it. Like, if you overdo it, you can overdo it. But adding a little bit just to keep the pot from sticking and burning and smoking and setting off the smoke alarms, not a bad idea. All right, that broccoli is good to go. Snow pea time. Remember, I didn't do anything to the snow peas because they are a lighter vegetable and they don't need to be blanched, but they do need to be clean. So everything's got to get washed, run under the water 2 or 3 times. Do the wok trick thingy. I don't think they moved at all. All right. Chicken next, because the bok choy is pretty delicate. I still have enough like movement in the pan. I don't have to add any oil or extra cooking wine. And remember, you got sauce coming up next. Okay. Bok choy. Shwa! My wife tells me I use way too many bowls and plates and stuff when I cook. And I'm not going to argue with that. But that's why I always say, hey, if I'm cooking dinner, I'll clean up. Because it's not fair if I make her clean up. That's not true. I make her clean up. Wok trick. Wok trick. Whoa, that was a good one. I'd say it's 50-50 as far as who cleans up after cooking. The kids never clean up. We're not raising them right. Sauce time! Let's mix this around. I might not even need the slurry, but I'm going to put it in anyway just to show you how. Here's how you would do the slurry. Remember, it sets. Got to shake it up. You add it just a little bit at a time so that you don't make glue, and you got to constantly like move it around. So I'm only going to add like that much, not even a quarter of the amount that I made, so that it doesn't get gloopy and gross. We want this tasting good, not gross. You spend all this time preparing something, you don't want your kids to be like, what? This is disgusting. Wok trick. Yeah, that was a good one. All right, we're done. Here's my rice cooker, white rice setting, brown rice setting, sushi rice setting. It just makes everything so easy, so perfect. Fluff it. Look at how perfect that rice looks. Close it up, it keeps it warm. Let's plate it. You can also finish off your stir fry with some sesame oil. I'm not a huge fan of sesame oil, so I don't use it. But if you do, comment below and tell me if it makes the whole thing come together. Usually I would have added some MSG at the end of the cooking process when I was sauteing, but I wanted to do this one to show you that it wasn't strictly necessary for it to still taste delicious. Garnish it with some of the green onion tops that we had kept. Chicken and broccoli with snow peas and baby bok choy, light brown sauce. And now my favorite part, I get to eat it. Mission accomplished!